Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt, and don't mind me if I seem a little annoyed today because I just filmed over half of this video with my mic off, so I'm refilming right now. So if you don't get the best of what I just said, I'm sorry. And yes, today we are talking our Riverdale recap. This is week 2 of season 2, chapter 15, I believe. And it was just an okay episode. There was nothing spectacular about this episode besides maybe the ending, which is still very shocking to me. And before I get into spoilers, I'm just going to do an overall really, really quick kind of, if people are still unsure of whether or not they're watching the show, you really should, because season 1 is a really great show. It has such great Twin Peaks influence with a little bit of like some teen, like maybe Pretty Little Liars at its best. And season 1, it's a tight 13 episodes, which is fantastic. It's easy, it's bingeable, it's on Netflix right now, so I would recommend doing that, especially because we're at the beginning of season 2, and once we get to season 2 and season 3, it's going to be a lot harder to catch up on this, because now the CW is ordering 22 episode seasons of this, and which is just like so disappointing to me, because like keep it at a nice 13 episodes. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't do that, But this is the CW. It wants to make as much money as possible, and Riverdale was a huge hit last year. It's doing great on Netflix, probably. So they're getting a lot of season 2 traction. Let's just get into this. Spoiler, we're going to start right from the top. Actually, we're starting from the end of this episode, and I'll tell you what, I am shocked. I am really shocked that, are we going to get a murder every episode? Because at the end of the last episode, Miss Grundy was strangled to death. This episode, Midge and Moose were shot in their car. Like, I just feel like this murder is moving, like, super fast. And also just, like, I'm just shocked. Because, like, the Miss Grundy thing I really enjoyed because, like, it was a character that virtually everyone disliked. I don't know one person who liked Miss Grundy as a character, especially the relationship between her and Archie. It's just wrong. Let's stop putting these on TV shows where teachers are, like, into their students. It's just not okay. And this episode, I liked it because it's shocking and I just wasn't expecting. And it's just kind of, it is a little bit heart-wrenching for Moose and Midge, these teenagers that live in this supposedly safe town that's now just a dark town to live in, especially as Moose really, like, he started off with a bang, at the beginning of season 1 because he kind of went through this thing. He's, like, bisexual, I assume, because he's with Midge, and I think he does enjoy her. Like, I think he does actually love her, but he's experimenting with Kevin at the beginning of last season. But from there on, like, once Kevin kind of ends it, they don't ever expand on Moose at all. He's got some one-liners here and there, and out of the footballers, it was Chuck had those 2 episodes, and then Reggie had kind of some episodes, but Moose never really had anything. Midge, we just met literally this episode. She was sort of featured in the first episode of this season, but no lines whatsoever. You really just see her in, like, picture for graduation, and then this episode, we get, like, a lot from her. Well, we get, like, 2 scenes from her, really. 3 scenes, including her murder scene. Anyway, and I don't know, when they introduced her, I just figured, oh, yeah, they're just expanding on the Archie comics characters. I did not think that they were going to murder both of them, because we barely know them. But it is kind of heart-wrenching. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm stuck on Mindhunter a lot, like, really into, this was so Zodiac-esque, because this hooded figure just comes up and shoots these 2 who are making out in the car when they're kind of high on drugs, and it's just like, I don't know, it was a little sad, because I was like, oh, we get to know these characters a little bit more, then nope, they're dead. And their murders also, to me, points to it not, like, the murderer not necessarily being Archie connected, because, yeah, there's the dad, Fred Andrews, obviously Archie connected, Miss Grundy, Archie connected, but we didn't really get any real interaction between Moose and Archie at all, and especially none between Midge and Archie, so I'm just, like, wondering if this has anything to do with Archie. I really don't think it does. I think it's gonna have some like common thread between all of the murders. And I don't think there's gonna be a murder every episode. I think that's way too much, especially because we don't have that many characters. But I will say I'm enjoying this mystery quite a bit. I just hope they delve into it a little bit more, and I hope Archie kind of joins Betty and Jughead on their like Scooby Gang that they have going on. Like, I like to see him kind of get into the thick of it, which he didn't do very much last season, except for the very end, which he still was barely in it at all. And really, there was two other like main storylines to this. You have Betty, who's just stretching herself thin with trying to save Pop's Diner and trying to help Jughead's dad, and it's just gonna run down a bad thing. She's blackmailing Cheryl Blossom with the video of her dad murdering Jason Blossom, which is just like, that is so dark and like really not appropriate at all. Like, how would you feel about that, Betty, if somebody murdered Polly and like was blackmailing you with a video of her dad murdering her sister? Like, also, where's Polly? Where is she? Isn't she supposed to be living with them? She was there at the end of the season. Why is she not here at the beginning of this season? Like, 2 days have taken place in between. I'm so confused. And also, this is just a prime example of Betty trying to be that perfect person that she tends to try to be, especially like when she was doing the Jughead birthday party last season. This is very similar to that. Like, she needs to calm down, let things happen. And also, she didn't save Pop's Diner. That was Veronica's parents who bought the place. And oh my God, I'm in love with Veronica and her parents. It is so messed up, and it's so interesting. Yeah, Veronica was just trying to be a good person, really. She honestly is, and she's fighting real hard back between the mom and the dad. And a mom who you get really attached to from the first season, and you get this feeling that she's a good person, but she's getting dark, and she's getting like really shifty now that she's with the dad, Hiram Lodge, who is just, he is nothing but terrible. Just terrible. And their team up seems so interesting, because you're kind of not sure if Hermione is going to stay with Hiram, like if he ever comes back, but they're in it to win it together, and I cannot wait. And I'm very interested to see how Veronica reacts to it all. Like, is she still going to live with them? Is she going to go over to the dark side? I think eventually, if this lasts several seasons, then we're going to see a dark Veronica back to her like old bitchy ways. But I'm very excited to see this, and I want to see that tug of war. I think it's really interesting, and I'd love to see Veronica win, like use what she's been taught from Hermione and Hiram and other people to win. I think that's interesting, but I think it's also dangerous, because I honestly would not put it past Riverdale, the show itself, and the parents I don't think Hermione would do anything to Veronica, but I don't think for a second that Hiram would not harm his daughter to keep himself safe. So while I think that this episode isn't necessarily the most interesting or the thing to further the plot, and it's not necessarily a filler episode, because we did get some stuff, and we will get filler episodes in a 22-episode season. Like, that's just going to happen. I hate filler episodes, but I'm going to have to deal with it. Hopefully that they're decent. But overall, fine episode, and there were some gems in this. Veronica's family and the murder at the end. I'm very interested to see how the town reacts to this. Okay, everybody, if you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what are your thoughts on Riverdale this season. Also, subscribe. I make videos Monday through Friday. Sometimes I miss a day, so please subscribe. Bye.